Hello students, welcome back to Psychology Point. Today I am going to discuss with you self-concept questionnaire. This is also the main practical or psychological test for your class 12. I am sharing with you the writing part of this test as well as I'm explaining you this test side by side. I will also explain you the viva questions that can be asked for this test. So let's begin. See, firstly, in your notebooks, you will be writing the aim of the test. See, what is the aim of this test? To assess the self-concept of the testee using Dr. Saraswat's self-concept questionnaire. I have taken self-concept questionnaire which is developed by Dr. Saraswat. Now, after this, as usual in any test, you will be writing the introduction in which you have to explain the concept which you are discussing. So first would be basic concept, that is self. Okay, it refers to, now what is self you all must be knowing, or you can turn up to my previous videos for self. See, self refers to totality of individual's conscious ideas, thoughts and feeling with regards to himself and herself. This you can write here. For writing purpose I am discussing this. The concept of self is created to help to understand the personality theory better. Not only this, children, the study of self will help you to understand the other person better. Until and unless we know ourselves, we cannot understand others. Then how does the self develop? This you will be taught, or you, if you are a new student, means if you have joined class 12 now and then you are watching my videos, so then you will be studying all this in second chapter. And if you are old, only watching for the practical purpose, then you should know how does a self develop. See, when the child is small, then he has no concept of, means when the child is born, he has no concept of self. When he grows older, then the idea of self emerges. Okay, when he meets his parents, teachers, they shaped his self concept. Okay, when he interact with others and also experiences add to his experiences, then he forms his self. Then you can talk about personal identity in this introduction. That is, it refers to those attributes of a person that makes him different from others. Okay, that brings uniqueness, like your name. Okay, is unique. Sonal also, Sonal could be many, but yes, Sonal, say Sonal Bedi or Mohan, um, means you yourself are unique, isn't it? So that would be your personal identity, and social identity would be related to your cultural group or the social group with which you are attached. For example, if you are a Muslim, then you would be, means that would be your social identity, or Hindu or Christian, that would be your social identity. Okay, children. After this, students, you will be writing about what is self-concept. See, the way we are perceiving ourselves, whatever ideas we hold about our competencies, whatever characteristics we think are present in us, forms our self-concept. Okay, this could be positive, this could be negative, but for healthy development, this should be actually positive. Okay, if we do not, if we consider ourselves, out not talented, or if we consider ourselves not up to the mark, not good, then naturally, we had lost our battles. But if we consider ourselves to be someone who can achieve something, someone who is talented, someone who has its plus as well as minus point, then we can succeed in life. So, in chapter 2, you will be studying in detail, and in this, you can write this much as I had put up in this PDF. Okay, then you see a person's child, when he is 6 or 7 years of age, then he has formed his self-esteem in at least 4 areas. See, self-esteem is what, children? Self-esteem is the value judgment which the children have for their own self, okay, about their self, how they rate themselves. Okay, so in 4 areas they could rate themselves, that is academics, social competence, athletic competence, and physical appearance. Okay, next in this you can discuss the other concept of self, that is self efficacy. See, self efficacy refers to a belief of a person in his or ability to control life outcomes. See, there are certain people who would be, for imposing or blaming the other events or the other persons in their life. Okay, now see, students, now after this you can mention self efficacy, which refers to a belief of a person in his or her ability to control the life outcome. See, this refers to ability of a person in which he holds himself responsible. Even if something has happened, he is not going to blame others, or he is not going to give the credit to the luck. Means he will be taking the credit of his achievements for himself, as well as he would be accepting his defeat also. That is what is self efficacy. Then, self as subject and self as object. This is another topic related to self in chapter 2, which you will be mentioning, since this test is related to self. So, when self is described as doing something, okay, that is self as subject, who is doing something. On the other hand, if it describes or an entity on which something is done, then it is described as object. Here, both ways fit. Okay, students, actually, that I had corrected it just now. In both the places, it was mentioned subject. Now, you will take it when someone is doing something, then you are writing when doing something like I am a dancer. When we are talking about this, then it is self as subject, and when we are talking about how it is being affected, then it is an object. Next, we move over to the kind of self. See, there are two types of self: personal self and social self. Okay, personal, which is related to your personal identity, in which leads to orientation, in which one primarily feels concerned with oneself only. And in social self, the social self emerges in relation to others. It emphasizes such aspects of life as unity, sacrifice, cooperation, support, or sharing. Okay. Then one more concept you can mention in introduction. Introduction, children, should be long, so that in the examination time you will not have to think over taking the viva question, at least for the related test from somewhere else. That's why I'm putting up these videos, so that in your viva, in your practical file, Your work is also systematic. You are able to attach many pages also in your file, because otherwise your file will become very thin. Plus, the you you know you need to revise only this portion for your exam also. So now, next last concept which you can discuss in this is your uh, self regulation, that is your ability to control or monitor or regulate your behavior. Okay, people who are able to change their behavior according to the demands of the external environment are high on self regulation. After this, next heading would be history and its description, that and the test description. In this, children, I'll tell you that this test was developed by Dr. R.K. Saraswat, and it provides 6 separate dimensions of self-concept, which is namely physical, social, temperamental, and you can see the meanings also are mentioned in the PDF. Okay, on the screen, which you can see on when you will be watching the video, you will be seeing moral, intellectual. So there are 6 separate dimensions of the self concept which can be measured through this test. The reliability of this test was calculated using test retest method. Children, for this calculation of reliability, you don't need to worry. This you will be studying at your graduation level, how we calculate test retest reliability. But yes, you should know preliminaries, that you should know at this time that what is reliability and what are the different methods in which you can measure reliability. Now, after this, actually preliminary should come in the next line. Okay, by mistake I have not corrected this, so you all can do it in your notebooks. Now in that means you can write your name, age, not your name but your subject's name, age, gender, qualification and place of conduction. Then you can come to the next heading, that is material required. So for this test you will be requiring SCQ manual, SCQ questionnaire form, pen, pencil, etc. Okay, then what are the precautions that you will be taking? See, optimal condition for testing should be ensured. Time of start and finish of the test is to be noted. This you can do rather point wise. Okay, and subject should be told that there is no right or wrong answer. The simple instructions and simple precautions which we do for all the tests. You can take this screenshot and write it properly in your notebooks when required. Then administration again. After, please remember the first step of administration, test administration, is report formation. Okay, many schools I visited and children are not knowing this term, report formation, in which you make your subject calm. Okay, and then you start the test. If your subject is nervous, it is or anxious about something, then he or she, his result would be affected. Okay, then of course we mentioned introspective report or the verbal report. Introspective report, many times I had explained you, is the report which would be given to you by your subject. Okay, and then behavioral report. All this better make it in the next line. I had not transferred it to the next line in this PDF which I had prepared. You all make it that way. Then scoring. Scoring is given in your manual also, and here also I will guide you how you have to do the scoring. See, the respondent is provided with 5 alternatives in this test. Okay, ranging from most acceptable to least acceptable. Then responses are in such a way that the scoring system for all the item would remain the same. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if he has ticked in the first block, you have to give him 5. If in the second, then you have to give in 4, and so on and so forth. And the summated score of all the 8 items in each self concept dimension will provide the total self concept score for that dimension. Okay, there are 6 areas, so you will be getting 6 separate scores. Okay. Yes, when you will be adding on the score on each dimension, then you will get a submitted score of all the 8 items in each self concept dimension. Now, when total, how you will get the total raw score? By totaling all these 8 digits which you have got. Okay, higher score on this indicates higher self concept on this dimension, whichever dimension, and overall also you will get to see in the manual. Okay, and now all the scores on each dimension will be added to get the total score, which I told you just. Students, in the last you can discuss your interpretation in this format I have provided you. It would be very easy for you to discuss your interpretation, then conclusion, and then you can give some references as I had given you. Okay, that's all that you have to do in the writing part of this test. If you in your school, if SCQ is administered.